you have discovered through the expansion of the internet world. I am Johnny Allen, and this is the Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast. We're going to be talking about your life, my life, and the world today. So sit back, relax, grab something if you need it, and let's do this. Hey, and the show does start now. I am your host, Johnny Allen of the Johnny Allen 30-Minute Podcast. Today is Thursday, 2/24/2022. 2/24/2022, a date to remember. I talk about everyday life situations here on this little 30-minute podcast. But today, and originally I was going to talk about the 70s. Good times of the 70s. I grew up in the 70s, and how, boy, it was such a great time back then. And how I more than ever would love to go back to the 70s, even for just a week. Today, something happened that I didn't think I'd see really in my lifetime. The world order, or the world that as we know it, has changed forever now. And I'm not talking about COVID. That was the beginning of it, the pandemic. And history, we never learn from history. We keep repeating history. And if you guys see the news, have seen the news, unless you've been living under a rock, you know, Russia invaded Ukraine today. Vladimir Putin has surprised me a lot. I've never been a fan of him or the Communist Party or dictatorships and all that stuff, right? I'm not a fan of that. I think that doesn't work. I think people are power hungry, and I talked about that many times before, but Vladimir Putin has surprised me. I thought he had a little more dignity behind him than what he is showing now. And I tell you what's power grabs, and it's not good for the world. And like I've said many times before in podcasts in the past, we live in a time now where there's such a thing. This is so different than back, 80 years ago during WW2. We just started developing nukes. And, of course, you look at history, nuclear weapons were launched then. And they're nothing. What I'm trying to say is today's nukes that looks like just like a firecracker, what happened in Hiroshima and in Japan, in Nagasaki. Back in the World War II, which is very tragic. But what we have today in the world, nuclear-wise, that makes that stuff look like a firecracker. And the thing that's scary about all this, it takes one guy that doesn't have his head straight at these dictators and royal leaders. And I've said this before this even happened, this invasion, to just hit a button. And the whole world has gone the way we know it. It's a sad, sad, sad time. I hate to be that way, too, because I look at this as a positive podcast most of the time, but we got to be real. These are, I've not said this before, these are scary times, folks, scary times. And you look at these people that got this power, the Vladimir Putins of the world, the CCP and all this, Iran, very close, North Korea, all these countries have nuclear weapons. India, although you don't hear a lot from India, they seem to be pretty peaceful people. But like I said, you just got one person that could just flip and not care and destroy everything that's delicate about this planet. And, why can't we coexist in harmony and peace? I talk about that all the time, right? And we can't do it as long as we got people like Putin in the world. And it's a shame because, like I said, I thought, especially when Trump was in office, that, there was a chance with us, bonding with Russia and having a good relationship with Russia. And by general, I love the Russian people. By general, I love the Chinese people. They're good people that are living underneath this, oppression. And this is out of character for me to talk about politics on my podcast because I don't. And I don't pretend to be an expert at it. But like I said, I'm an everyday life person, everyday life situations, and there's everyday life situations going on in Ukraine and around the world. Could you imagine if you're in the Ukraine, what those people got to be thinking right now? And you know what? It can happen anywhere. I live in the United States of America. It can happen here. It can happen anywhere, right? I mean, the world is so delicate. And to think that one person or a handful of people, handful, can make these decisions that aren't so great. In their mind, they're wonderful. And in their mind, it's like, hey, I can do this. I planned it. I have an objective. I'm just going to take it. Going to do what I'm going to do. No one's going to stop me. I'm just going to do it. But there's always consequences. Like I said, action, reaction. Whenever you do an action, there's a reaction, no matter what. So you know what? Unfortunately, Vladimir Putin is got an action coming back. It's sad. And the people are going to, it's the people that suffer, like me. The poor people in Russia, the people that don't have the money are the people that are suffering. In case you've never been on my podcast, I drink coffee, I share stuff, and we're drinking coffee today, and we got to have a cigarette of coffee on this stuff. And this stuff talking the topics of invading other countries. It's like, I look at it this way. It's like somebody breaking into your house. You've worked real hard to get everything that you have, and someone just comes in and breaks in and just takes it. No regard or respect for anything that's going on, and threatening, I'm going to use, nuclear power if you guys step in. Someone steps in and tries to stop me, I'm going to use nuclear. Come on, think about it. You know what an ICBM does? For real? You're not going to escape it. No one's going to escape it. I don't care if you're in one of those bunkers that's 5 miles under the ground. You're going to be in there for so long. The radiation eventually going to creep in. You'll never be able to get out of the hole. It's just ugly all the way around. And some people say, well, it's prophecy, John. It could be. I'm a man of faith. And, if you read the Bible and look at Revelations, not to tap into that subject or whatever. I'm talking, I don't know. It's just the whole thing is upsetting. But if you look at that, it talks about that. Okay, and if China gets involved, it's going to be really, really ugly. It's already ugly. Guys, comment below on anything I have to say. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and like and all that stuff. For what it's worth. Like I said, I'm just Johnny Allen. I talk about everyday life situations. I'm an average Midwestern American guy. I'm not rich by no means, just making ends meet, just trying to live a good, healthy, normal life with people not bothering me and me not bothering people, trying to help people when I can, with what little resources I have. I try to be an honest guy and stuff like that. And like I said, then you look at the world news, man. I'm just so aggravated with this stuff because I've talked about it for a long time. And you got the big dictators out there, the Vladimir Putins of the world. Well, you know what? I think I'm just going to take Ukraine back because that's what it used to be, and I'm going to take it back. The thing is, my advice to things like that is like sometimes you can't turn back the clock and you can't make things the way they used to be. You just can't. I mean, time goes on. Yes, if Ukraine at one time was part of the Soviet Union, the Soviet Union was the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union collapsed. Things change. And Ukraine wants to be their own, and they are their own country, right? Okay, I get it. And things do change. And I don't mind change as long as it's positive change. As long as it's positive change. And the thing is, you can go about, I don't understand these world leaders, because you can go about things differently where it makes it better, and you can get kind of your prosperity and everything for you and your country and people that, you get people to grow to love you and respect you, and you get more for that. And these guys, it's just common things. They don't even understand it. They think, well, it's all about power. That's what's going to do it. And you know what? I don't care how much power you got. I don't care how much money you got or whatever. And if you do bad things or whatever, but the whole thing is like there's a higher power than any of us humans here on this planet. And karma is real. And I don't care what anybody says. What comes around goes around. It will bite. If you do something bad to people, it will bite you back in the ass. Yes, I said it. All right. This is a mug, and it's Black Rifle Coffee. I got it from my son a couple years ago. Okay, to kind of lighten the mood a little bit, I had to get that off my shoulders. It's very aggravating. Here we are just getting out of COVID, which should have never happened. That's another human mistake. Human mistakes. Well, we make a lot of them. Okay, so we just get out of this. We're starting to kind of get out of the COVID. I mean, I had it like the beginning of the month, 4 weeks ago. Okay, and God knows what kind of damage it's going to do in me for the rest of my life. But we were getting out of the COVID thing, and then all of a sudden now Putin decides, well, it's time to go into Ukraine, and I'm going to stir everything up and going to set my military, and I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. Come on, timing is terrible. I mean, say I'm a dictator. My timing's terrible if I did that. I'm dictator Johnny Allen. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to invade my neighbor in Carmel, Indiana. I'm going to take it over, and it's terrible timing. It's terrible everything. It's bad karma. It's bad everything. Okay, it's just I know I'm speaking very simple, very obvious, but that's just how it is. Okay. On another note, like I said, I share coffee on this podcast, and despite everything that's going on, I hope you guys are doing well out there. I really do. I hope you guys and gals and people of the world are doing okay. Comment below on anything I got to say, guys. I'm just talking about everyday life. I mean, you flip on the news, it's disturbing. I don't like seeing bombs going off in places. Poor Syria. Those people in Syria, come on. Come on. It's like, come on. World, wake up. World leaders, wake up. Wake up. I'm trying not to cuss. Wake up. Wake up. Make the world a better place. Quit bombing stuff. For Christ's sakes, quit bombing people. Quit it. And we're going to talk about something a little lighter. Let's go to coffee. CWE is no longer because Tim retired. So I'm just going to share random coffees, guys. I've got to get off the war subjects and the doom and gloom for a second. I'm just going to share the coffees on the podcast every Thursday. I do this every Thursday. And today I'm drinking Kroger brand Supreme Blend ground coffee, medium, pretty good. Not bad. Rich and pure, It's kind of like not the Starbucks of the world and stuff like that, but this is not a bad coffee. Not a bad coffee, and the price is still pretty good for now. And that's another thing. With the shenanigans of the Russian leadership, I have nothing personal against Vladimir Putin. Like I said, I kind of respected him as a person and thought, well, he's probably going to play pretty well on the world stage. Seems like he's kind of getting his act together. But after what he pulled this caper, I called it a caper, today, and prices all over the world are going to go up. His country's going to suffer more with the sanctions and whatever else may happen. It has a domino effect. It's going to affect the whole world. Our gas prices are already high because our leadership in this country doesn't know how to do our own petroleum here. We have all kinds of gas here. Keystone Pipeline, things like that. We shut that down. Why? Oh, well, the reason why is because they feel like, it's environmentally unfriendly and blah, 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 blah. No. It's not really. And I tell you what, you got to have your own independence, self-reliance. You got to have it. But you don't, depending on other people that aren't so friendly or meet your agendas or have a different way of thinking, whatever you want to call it, we're going to be in trouble. So we'll kind of enjoy the coffee now before it goes up. They're talking like gas here may go up to $5 a gallon. It's unreal. Like I said, I was really going to talk about the 70s today. I may talk about the 70s next week or the week after. I'm going to have my good buddy Steve on. We're going to talk about his discipling book, my next guest. Okay. I just don't know what to say, guys, except that it's just getting weirder by the minute. I'll be 58 in 4 days. If we don't blow the planet up, I'll be 58 in 4 days. In my 58 years on this planet, I have never seen, or nor did I think I would ever see, the stuff that's going on today. let alone the invasion of Ukraine. And, you know, we went through the Iraq war and all that stuff, and the Afghanistan. I get it. It's been wars going on. I was born during the Vietnam conflict. I mean, we've had a lot of these conflicts, and really there's no room for any of it. There really isn't. Like I talked about last week or the week before, we'd save so much money if we didn't even have to have. It would be nice. None of us had to have a military machine. No country. We could just trust each other and, you know, help each other. What a way to save money and resource and life and everything. It's like if you take all that money that you spend on the military machines, and I got nothing against the military. I love the military people. But if we had a reset on how we think, if we didn't have all this power, greed, hatred in the world for each other, we would have to have militaries. We had trust and love and peace and respect each other. Just think of all the resources and all the money we'd save, not having to have militaries or worry about that, and other things that we could do to make the planet and the people better and the environment better and all that. And, you know, and I'm not even really like a hardcore liberal or nothing. I'm not even really a liberal. I'm a conservative. And you know what the thing is? I have nothing against liberals. I have nothing against anybody that wants to do right for the world, okay, period. I want to get that clear. I want to get that on the table. And I respect other people's opinions, but it has to be positive, not taking over other nations, not stealing from people, not tearing down buildings, not painting graffiti on things. You know, you guys get it. Just normal. You know, I don't like vandalism, stealing, robbing, shooting, murdering. I mean, here in my own little community, not too far from where I live, had a shooting at a Chuck E. Cheese. Where kids go. Chuck E. Cheese is a place where I'm just saying, I don't even understand it. I don't even understand where this world has gone. Except for, you know what, in the handbasket. And it's a shame. And I like I said, in my 58 years soon to be, I never thought I would see all the wackiness, and I mean really severe wackiness that is going on all over the world. All over the world. Not just the United States, all over the world. The wackiness. I'm just going to say it, the wokenesses and the political correctnesses and the freedom to do everything and anything you want to do. I mean, come on, really? I mean, it's all about, I don't mind educating people on things. I think you should learn from history. We keep repeating it. We're not like what's going on in Ukraine right now. We keep repeating it. In Russia, we keep repeating history. We don't learn from history. We don't learn that World War II was bad, that a World War III would be even worse, like the end of the planet. We don't seem to learn these things. And these leaders of the world that's supposed to be so smart and intelligent, they don't have a clue. We don't learn from history. We just keep repeating it. So all this stuff about the wokeness and all that stuff and trying to, this is bad, that's bad. You learn from the bad stuff, guys. I'm just going to put it out there straight up. You learn from the bad history and you correct it. It doesn't mean you lose your identity on who you are. And it doesn't mean because I'm white, I'm a bad person, or because he's black, he's a bad person, or because she's, Indian descent, she's a bad person. You guys get it. There's no such thing as just because how you're born and what God made you makes you a bad person. What makes you a bad person is what you're thinking up here. Your physical actions, what you're doing up here, your physical actions is what makes you a bad person. When you talk bad to people, or you physically are bad to people, or you do bad things to people, that makes you the bad person. It has nothing to do, because I am friends with African American people. I mean, I work with a bunch of African American people. Good people, friendly, get along with them. I'm friends with white people. I'm friends with Indians. I'm friends with everybody. I'm friends with young people, old people, women, men. I'm friends with a lot of people. As long as they are, human beings and nice and genuine human beings and someone I can relate to. And when I say relate to, I may not agree and like everything they like, but just being nice. Hey, how you doing? All right, brother? Hey, fist pumping and stuff. I do that all the time to my brothers and sisters of the world. And that's what they are. And you look at something that's, the reason why I'm saying this tonight, guys, because, gosh, I can't get this through enough. You see what's happening over in Russia and Ukraine. That is not loving your brothers and sisters. I'm sorry, that's not doing it. That's not showing love. And, you know, I mean, gosh, I mean, come on, really? I'm sure if Vladimir Putin had a nice dialogue with the leadership of Ukraine, and I don't even know the guy's name, I'm sorry, because I don't keep up on that stuff as much as maybe I should. But anyway, if you just had a nice dialogue with the world, you get more with sugar than you do salt. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Now, bad people need to be punished, and they will. Whether another human being does it or God, you know, and some people argue with me about that too. Well, God doesn't punish people. Well, you know, I got news for you. I've seen God has punished me in some ways. I mean, you're going to be corrected for your bad actions. Somehow. It always happens. Something always happens. And I call it karma. Some people say there's no such thing, but there is. I mean, I've seen it happen over and over and over again. You mark my words, if the world doesn't get crazy and we don't pull each other up, something will eventually happen to these leaders that do bad things. I'm just saying. It will. It may take a long time, but it will. I mean, you look at Adolf Hitler, for instance. Look what happened to him. Took a while, but look. You look at the Empire of Japan back in the day. Now they're our best friends. And see, there's an example of what I'm talking about. We were enemies big time with Germany and Japan. This is what's so weird. Think about this, guys, and the young people that don't have a clue what's going on. Read your history. You know, stop talking about, well, so-and-so's bad because of the way they look and what happened, you know, 100-something years ago. Come on. Let's think about real history. Let's talk about what's happened back then and what's happening now. Back during World War II, this is a fact, Japan was our enemy and Germany, Hitler, the Nazis, those two were our enemies. That's who we fought against. We hated each other. Now we're friends with Germany. Wow, isn't that amazing? And we're really good friends with Japan. Now, how's that? Well, that goes to show you. And back during World War II, we bailed Russia out. They were getting killed by Germans, and we helped bail them out. Now they're just saying, screw you, United States and the rest of the world. We're just going to do what we want to do. See what I mean? I mean, you look at it, that people can become friends even after they're enemies. And my hopes, and I pray that, you know, the Russian leadership, Vladimir Putin, whoever, changes their thought processes, and maybe one day they can have a good rapport with everybody in the world. Because like I said, in World War II, Japan was our enemy. You know, they bombed Pearl Harbor. I mean, you know, come on. And you stop and think about it 80 years later, what for? Why did that all happen? What a waste of life. What a waste of money. What a waste of environment. And innocent people were involved that didn't even want none of it. And that's the real sadness, is innocent people are involved that don't want any of it. And they're caught in the middle of it. They're just trying to live. Just trying to live and have a good meal and eat and be with their family and friends and just enjoy life. Because that's what life's supposed to be. That's why we were put here, is to enjoy the life. Not having to fear our neighbors, not having to fear somebody breaking into your home and stealing stuff or robbing you at the store or a gas station or walking down the street and getting shot and all these bad things that are happening and happening and happening and happening and happening. That was not the way it's supposed to be set up. And if we could be friends with Japan now and Germany after that horrendous war, see, there's just no need for war. I don't know. It's my thought. Comment below. I'm a simple man. I live a simple life. I have no money. I won't say I don't have no money. I got enough to survive. I got enough to live a decent life, support my wife, and we help each other, and I drink coffee. You know. For dinner tonight, I had 2 sloppy joes. You know, because I got to make a thing of ground beef last forever. It shouldn't be that way, guys. It should not be that way. It should not be that way, right? If you agree, comment. It's just we have enough resources, and if we work together and start concentrating on the good stuff and not concentrating on the bad stuff, we could get it together as a civilization all over the world. But you got all these bad actors out there. I don't know. I don't know. Little kids can't even go to a Chuck E. Cheese without fearing that someone's going to shoot something. I mean, what's the purpose? Oh, you're mad at somebody. Somebody give you a bad deal. I'm going to show them. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. I don't have the answers to any of it. I'm venting because it's sad. It's very sad. It's sad, and the whole thing is sad. And like I said, I'm almost 60 years old, and I never thought I would see everything's going on. I used to take my kids to Chuck E. Cheese's when they were kids, and the only thing that was aggravating was the kids screaming and stuff, and the fake band up there playing. Okay, I never dreamed in my wildest dreams that bullets might be flying through the place. So I take my little kids to have a pizza and have some fun. I never would have thought that. Who would ever thought that you go to a drive-through, or you're working a drive-through and someone shoots you because you messed up their order accidentally? Who would ever think that? Who would ever think that you're driving down the road and someone, just shoots you because they didn't like the way you're driving? Who would ever think that? That never happened back in the day. Really, I'm talking like a long time ago. In the 70s. I'll tell you what. I'm not saying we didn't have bad stuff in the 70s. It was a lot better time. I'm just being honest. Just being honest. I'm being honest. I could say other things, but it'd be, to some people, politically incorrect, even though it's correct. Just correct. Not politically incorrect. It's correct. But I won't even go to some of the places I feel like going to. But it's just like, I don't know. And it's not bad stuff, people. It's just general thoughts, how times have changed, right? And you would think that 80 years ago, when Adolf Hitler, did his, decided he was going to just wipe out all the Jews and take over everything, you think that we would have learned from that. You would think that we'd come a further as a civilization and further as civilized human beings. You think at 80 to almost 100 years that we would be more civilized. We're no more civilized than we were 3,000 years ago, folks. We're not. In some ways, we're going backwards. This brutality that's going on in the world, this hate and everything is actually going backwards. We're going backwards. People used to, shoot each other at the Wild West because they didn't like the way you looked. I mean, that's just, we're there. We're back there. We're not going forward. We're going backwards. We're not going forward. We're going backwards. We're going backwards. We're going backwards so far we fall off the stool. That's how far backwards we're going. It doesn't make sense to me, guys. Anyway, I thanks for stopping in. I'm just venting today. I'm venting today because of what's going on in the world. I try not to pay much attention to, but you can't help it when you got something this bad going on, and the repercussions we don't even know yet could be really bad, guys. It could be really bad. This podcast could end. Things could end. I mean, things. It's not good. It's not good. Comment below if you want anything. Go get some coffee. Let me know what you're drinking as far as coffee goes. If you got a favorite brand, share would be nice. I don't know any thoughts, guys. Like I said, I'm a simple dude. Just observing the world and observing my environment around me, and even the little stuff is going to work. Going to work, and everybody just being a little polite and being nice at work. It makes the work day go so much better, right? When people are just, I'm not saying you got to be gushy, nicey, and oh yeah, kumbaya, everybody. I'm not saying that, but just saying, hey, good morning, how you doing? Oh, pretty good. How's it going? Yeah, you doing okay? Yeah, we're above ground today. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, peace on the earth, right? Yeah, and go on. Go about your business. I hate people that stereotype, judgmental people. I don't know. I could go on and on, but I won't. I'm like you folks out there. Are you very concerned about what's going on in the world today? With everything? I mean, we had those riots a couple years ago. We got a bunch of people that were pissed off and hit the Capitol building. A lot of stuff has happened in a short amount of time. We've had a pandemic worldwide, shut things down. Like I said, I didn't think I'd see all that happening in such quick succession. And now Vladimir Putin decides, I want Ukraine back the way it was, the Soviet Union, and I'm going to come get it, come hell high water, and I don't give a damn what the rest of the world thinks. And if you try to stop me, guess what? You're going to get this up your, threatening. It's threatening. He's threatening. It's just, I don't know. I just thought the world was a lot further along than it is. But like I said, we're going backwards. We're going backwards. Everybody from the world top leaders out there that are, thinking that they're gonna, we're all gonna die one of these days. And everybody, I tell you what, equal footing before I go. Everybody's one thing for sure. Everybody's gonna die one day, and they're all gonna have to answer to their maker. So no matter how much money and power you got or whatever, you better think about that one before you go. Think about it. Now I doubt if any of the big people are watching my podcast, but if they are, think about what you're doing, because one day you're going to pass away. There's nothing you can do about it. You're not going to live forever, period. No one is. No one will. And you're going to meet your maker, and you're going to have to answer to that maker. How are you going to answer? I'll end it on that one. Thanks for stopping in, guys. Hey, next week I think I will talk about something lighter if we haven't destroyed the planet. I say that kind of giggly, but it's actually nerve-wracking. It's actually pretty scary. But if we're still here next week, the Lord willing, like I said, we'll talk about something more fun like the 1970s. We'll go back there because that's what I was going to do tonight. And then all this popped up, and I just couldn't help it. I thought, you know what? I wasn't going to address it, but I had to get this off my chest. If you guys feel the same way, please comment below. And like I said last week, no matter what, even with all these world problems, don't let it consume you, though. You got to take a break. Go take a walk, go outside, have some fun. If you have a good hobby, a fun hobby, a healthy hobby, go do it. I'm going to try to play some music on Saturday with the Saints. The Lord willing. I'll see you guys next week.